words of your reference, we're beating on the studio wall.
Hey everyone, Emma here, also known as eightvinyllow, bringing all of you another video. Today's video is one that I've really been looking forward to making, and I know that a handful of you have been waiting on this. I wanted to take some time to process everything before sitting down and filming this video, so now that I've taken the time to do that, we're ready to go. Without further ado, in today's video, we're going to be talking about my experience seeing Rush in Chicago on the 50-something tour. I'm going to walk through both shows that I attended, share some of my favorite moments and highlights from those couple of Rush shows, share some clips and videos and pictures, all of that fun stuff, and talk about what has ended up being one of the greatest concert and music experiences of my life. So let's sort of dive right into it. If you've been around this channel for any amount of time, if you know me at all, you probably already know this, but Rush is one of my favorite bands. They are a band that means so much to me. And for years, if somebody asked me, Emma, what band do you wish that you could have seen live? My answer, without hesitation, was always Rush. After Neil died, honestly and realistically, I thought that that opportunity was gone forever. So when the 50-something tour was announced, I got goosebumps when it was announced. There wasn't really a decision to make. I knew that I was going to be there. One way or the other, I was going to be there. Of course, so did everybody else. With all the hype surrounding the announcement, getting tickets was like a complete different story. The Chicago shows sold out almost immediately, and I struck out. So I decided, okay, I will wait closer to the day when more tickets maybe become available and get one around then. Then June rolled around. Like so many of you, I started watching clips and live streams from the LA shows, and I was reading all of the reviews. The more I watched, the more I realized I need a ticket, and I need one now. So I would sell my soul to go see this show, and that's sort of what happened. So I was intentional. Eventually, I found a ticket for Monday, July 20th, night 3 in Chicago. It was exactly what I wanted. It was a side stage seat on Alex's side. If I was finally going to see Rush for the first time, I wanted to be as close enough to the band as possible. So that ended up being one of the best decisions that I made. So I got that back in June. Now, the funny thing is that this concert happened immediately following the MGK Vinyl Community Summer Bash in Buffalo. So I flew home on Sunday night. I unpacked everything, just enough to survive, slept a little bit. And then Monday rolled around and it officially became Rush Day for me. The entire day revolved around this concert. That morning, I saw online that the United Center was doing an early merchandise sale in the atrium, which sounded really appealing. It sounded like a great idea. I already knew that I wanted the Chicago City shirt and I wanted a tour poster, and I'd rather grab everything early than have to worry about it or carry it around all night or get in line at night, whatever else. So around 11:30 in the morning, drove over to the arena, and there were already a couple dozen people waiting in line, again, just for merchandise. While standing there, I learned about something that I had absolutely no idea about. There was an extremely limited edition foil version of the Chicago poster. Since Rush was playing 4 nights in Chicago, only a handful of these foil posters were available each day, normally during these early sales. I think they had 15 or 20 per day that they sold, which was cool, but I was 20 or 30 people back in line, so I wasn't really thinking anything of it. I'm just gonna get the generic poster. By the time I reached the merch table, I peeked over. There were 2 foil posters left. So I snatched these up so fast. Now this was $100, and normally I would stand there and debate spending that type of money on a poster, but this is Rush you're talking about. So the wallet came out right away, no problem. Looking back, I am so happy that I grabbed this because there's only 75 in total for the 4 nights. 75. I got 59 out of 75. So I don't know how I managed to snag one, but it's easily one of my favorite souvenirs of the entire trip. That's so cool. I also grabbed this Chicago shirt, which I'm sporting on in this video. And once I grabbed the merch, went back to where I was staying, dropped everything off, got ready, and got my shirt on, and then I headed over to the Billy Goat Tavern on Madison, which is a couple blocks from the United Center. Apparently, that was where every Rush fan in Chicago had decided to spend the afternoon. The place was packed. It was like the unofficial, official pre-show celebration. It was just so much fun. They had Rush blasting, and I ended up meeting with a couple of folks, so I do want to give a shout out to Jonathan and Ian. It was so nice meeting you guys. I also met up with a couple of Chicago VC friends. So I met up with Vance over at Zep Pearl and his buddy Mike, as well as Brian from Brian's Funhouse. Grabbed some food, grabbed some drinks, talked music, talked Rush, and time flew by. After a couple of hours, before we knew it, it was finally time to head over to the United Center. So we walked a couple of blocks over. Now, one thing I have realized over the years about concerts is that it's never just about the music. The music is sort of what gets you to that point, but the people are what make the memories. And this day with my friends was already proving that. Then something happened that I honestly still can't believe right now. Now, I'm not going to get into exactly how it happened. That's a story for another day. But somehow, Vance, Brian, and I got into the Xanadu VIP lounge before the show. This place is basically heaven for Rush fans. It was the coolest thing. There was memorabilia everywhere. You had handwritten lyric sheets, you had instruments, so much tour history, pinball machines, wall to wall Rush history. I could have spent hours walking around there. We probably spent all of 20 minutes. At one point going through all this, I stopped and looked around and I was already thinking, this is the coolest day I've ever had. And the band hadn't even walked on stage yet. So eventually we made our way down to our seats, and being in that arena, that's when everything started to feel real. Now, I noticed that there were a couple of empty seats right next to me before showtime. It was a couple minutes before showtime. And I look over to Vance and Mike and I'm like, I don't think that anybody's going to be coming because they were not sold. You could see them on Ticketmaster resale and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to buy this. Sure enough, nobody did. And so Vance and Mike ended up sitting next to me during this show. I couldn't have asked for a better way to experience my Rush show than to experience it with them. Then came the moment I probably will never forget, because my seat was on Alex's side stage, and I could actually see backstage before the show. So A few minutes before showtime, I look over and there was Alex Lifeson standing there, doing whatever pre-show stuff, getting ready to go on stage. That was the moment that everything hit me. It hit me like a freight train. After all those years of saying, oh, I wish I could see Rush, I'm never gonna see Rush, that day was a reality. I was living it. And I'm not ashamed to admit this. I already had tears in my eyes before that first note was played. I mean, it was such an emotional experience. Then the lights went down, and of course they opened up with Xanadu. From that very first note, it felt so overwhelming and surreal. After years of listening to these songs, collecting these albums, watching old concert footage, and wondering what it would have been like to experience this band live, I was finally there. The energy inside the United Center was unbelievable, right? You could just tell this wasn't just another concert for the people there. Everyone around us knew that we were all witnessing something so special, and you could just feel that the second the band walked on stage. Everybody was just immersed in that moment. For me, it was one of those rare moments where reality actually lived up to the expectations, and to be completely honest, it exceeded them. Now, one of the really cool things that really stood out to me throughout the night was just how incredible everybody sounded. Alex was phenomenal. Lauren on keys added that extra oomph. Getty sounded fantastic, and Annika, oh, of course, just an absolute beast on that stage. She brought the energy, was awesome. And just the chemistry between everyone on that stage was exactly what I hoped that it would be, and more. The entire set list was incredible, but there were definitely a couple songs that really hit me that night. Bravado was one of them with the Neil tribute. That's always been a top Rush song for me, and hearing that song live and putting it into the perspective of everything that's going on and the motion on it was huge. But the song that got me crying was Time Stands Still. I have loved that song for years, but hearing it live in that room was something else. Those lyrics about appreciating where you are, the people around you, the experiences, the moments that pass by so quickly, they hit so different standing in a room like that. I remember looking around the arena during that song and thinking I just want to take in all of this. I don't want the night to end. I've spent years believing that I never get the chance to see this, and now I am living in it. I was finally there. And so I wanted to take it all in, see all of the people and the places that surround me now. So yes, there were definitely some tears. Vance was patting me on the shoulder. But they were the good tears. They were happy tears. I will throw the full Monday set list on the screen because it was an absolutely incredible show. They played Moving Pictures in its entirety, which was definitely a very special treat. So yeah, just an incredible set list from start to finish. having an absolute blast. We also picked up the tour exclusive Rush Golden Ale, which was delicious, had a few of those. Eventually though, the show came to an end, the band took their final bow, the lights came up, and all I could do was just like stand there. I wasn't in any hurry to leave, I wanted to just take it all in, but the night wasn't over just yet. One of the coolest souvenirs that I brought home that night was not something that I bought. It was a couple of these Alex Lifeson guitar picks. Now, if you've watched this channel, you probably know that outside of collecting vinyl records, my second love is collecting guitar picks from concerts that I go to. So getting these picks, these Alex Lifeson picks from my first Rush show, that was so incredibly special, and this is going to be something that I treasure for so long. After the concert, Vance, Mike, and I walked back to the Billy Goat Tavern, grabbed some food, just sort of replayed and processed the entire night in our heads, talked about some of our favorite moments, just whatever else, and immediately, as you would, wishing we could do it all over again. Eventually, we all headed home, and I figured that was it. Bucket list accomplished. I'd finally seen Rush. I was so grateful. I was so happy. The adrenaline was going. I honestly couldn't have asked for a better first experience. Then Wednesday morning rolled around, and after a little encouragement, the adrenaline was still going from Monday. After a lot of encouragement, actually, and the right amount of peer pressure. And you guys know who you are. I found myself doing something that I never expected. I said, F it, I'm going back to Chicago, and I'm going to go see Rush again. I'm going to go see Night 4 at the United Center. Before I knew it, I was in the car, I was checking Ticketmaster. Now here's another funny part, the magic of the week. I didn't even have a ticket yet, so the plan was basically drive to Chicago and like hope that everything works out. As luck would have it, Ticketmaster released a handful of like face value seats that morning, and one of them happened to be directly in front of the row and seat where Vance and Mike were sitting. Like, what are the odds of that? After everything that had already happened over the last few days, I accepted at this point that this was the universe rewarding questionable financial decisions. So worth it. So I grabbed that ticket, I made the drive back to Chicago, and before long, I found myself back at the Billy Goat Tavern. By this point, it was tradition, it felt like home. Met up with Vance and Mike again, grabbed some food, some drinks, sort of speculated about that Night 4 set list, and then made our way to the United Center. We stopped into Queenie's before the show, which was really fun. We had another Rush Golden Ale, and we also met up with another one of Vance's friends, Mark. So Mark, if you're watching, it was so great getting to meet you and chat with you for a bit. And shout out to whoever called me out and said the Cheap Trick Girl or something. You guys are awesome too. The Wednesday experience was totally different from Monday, and I'll kind of explain why. So on Monday, right, I was side stage, couple rows from Alex's, where Alex was on the stage, and I spent the entire show just watching the musicians. I was watching Alex's guitar work up close. I was watching Getty's interaction with the crowds, watching sort of every little detail that sometimes you miss when you sit a little further back. Wednesday gave me a completely different perspective that I'm so grateful for. My seat was sort of towards the back, and I'm so glad it was, because now I could really appreciate just how massive this production was. The lighting, the video screens, the stage design, the way that everything was perfectly synchronized. It was beautifully done. I'll admit, if I ever complained about Rush ticket prices, which I'm sure I did, I take all of it back, because every dollar was right there on the stage and more. The production alone was worth the price of admission. So if you are on the fence about going to see this tour and they're rolling near you, go. I'm just go. You will understand exactly why within the first 5 minutes. Buy the ticket, go. Then the lights went down again, and somehow I was every bit as excited as I was on Monday, if not more, in like a weird way, because this time I wasn't overwhelmed with emotions or the fact that I was finally seeing Rush. This time I could just soak it in and enjoy it as a fan. And then it happened. One of my favorite Rush songs of all time is Free Will. I have loved that song for as long as I can remember. One of my favorite songs ever. It's one of those songs where every time that it comes on, whatever I'm doing can wait. They did not play that Monday night, and I was a little bummed out, but it is what it is. But you know, heading into Wednesday, I couldn't help hope that they would play that song. I was like manifesting it all day. I posted on Instagram and stuff. And then those opening notes started. I don't even know, you could see it on my face. I don't even know how to describe that feeling. I completely lost it. You know, that was the moment where it stopped feeling like I was watching a concert and started feeling like I was living inside one of my favorite albums, Permanent Waves. I will put the Wednesday night's full set list on the screen because for me, it was absolutely perfect. So many gems. The Pass, The Garden, Farewell to Kings. That was the second time they played it on this tour. The first time was in LA, and before that, they had not played that song since like 1979 or something insane. So getting to hear that live felt so special. I don't think I have gone harder at a concert, and I've been to a lot of shows in my life, but I don't think I've gone harder. I was just jamming out, air guitars, air drums, air bass, whatever I could do, jumping up and down. I was losing my shit on this second night, to the point where I probably owe the people sitting next to me an apology. They probably left the night thinking, well, you know, whoever that person was had a really good time. And they would have been absolutely right. I had the time of my life. I gave everything to that show. By the time it was over, I had almost completely lost my voice, and you might even still hear a little bit of that while I'm recording this. It's still not back. Worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Song we rarely play. Try not to fuck it up.
song ended, the lights came up, I had a completely different feeling than I did on Monday. Monday was emotional because I finally accomplished something that I'd dreamed about for years. Wednesday wasn't about checking off a bucket list item. It was about simply enjoying one of my favorite bands. There were no expectations, just pure appreciation. And somehow it made that second show just as unforgettable as the first, which is saying a lot. Afterward, the three of us, Vance, Mike, and I, made one last trip back to the Billy Goat Tavern, grabbed some late night food, and just sort of, and Mark too, he came with us, and just soaked in the experience. And that wrapped up what had turned into one of the most incredible concert experiences and weeks of my life. I'm still sort of processing all of this, so to all of you watching, I want to hear your stories. Share them in the comments below. Did you get a chance to see Rush live? What was your favorite Rush concert memory, if you have? Maybe you saw them in the 70s or 80s or 90s, 100 times, one time, who knows? Share your experiences down below. Whatever your story is, let me know. I want to hear it, and just continue this Rush high. This is the best part about being a music fan. We all have these moments, these shows, these songs, these bands, these memories that remind us why we're so in love with music in the first place. And for me, this Rush experience is definitely one of those moments. With that, everybody, that is it for this video. I hope that all of you are doing well, and I'll see you all for my next video. Long live Rush. See you guys later. Bye, guys.